Three, two, one, go.
Hey everyone, I'm Paul, Mr. Cleveland Warren, living in the city of Cleveland, in the state of Cleveland, in the United States of Cleveland. Okay, now, last week I talked about Phil Collins' first band called Flaming Youth. Really, that was the name of the band. And I'll be truthful, that album called Arc 2 was a little more progressive than the first Genesis album. Really, I still recommend it to anyone, but I would talk about another band that came from England. Well, basically he's one guy, but this band should get more American recognition. It's called The Divine Comedy. Started by Neil Hannon, who's Northern Irish, so it's Northern Ireland, it's part of England, so you don't have to worry about that, Mark.
Okay.
Part of the UK. So, yeah, just the same area where Van Morrison was born in. But he formed a band called The Divine He has a band called Divine Comedy, and the band is basically a 90s Baroque pop band, which was everyone saying Baroque pop, what the hell's that? Well, just think about the Left Bank or the Moody Blues in some ways, or in some Beatles songs. But in 1998, he had an album, which, in my opinion, is his best album, called Desiecle, which means, let's just say, the end of the century, because it was released in, the end of the century, the millennium, and
1899?
1998.
Oh, okay.
And to be truthful, I do miss the 90s and 20th century. Happy times, basically. All basically peace. And look at us now.
Well, simpler for us, but we were kids, so what do we know?
So, okay, let's go to the tracks. Track number 1, Generation Sex. It's kind of like the play on words like Generation X, but it's about
sex.
Yes, and like there's one line about the death of Diana.
Okay. Diana Ross?
No, the Princess Diana.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah, it's like England's never been the same since the death of Diana. Number 2, and it's kind of got this almost like Phil Spector-ish kind of feel, like with the horns and the harp, and then in the end with the surf guitar and strings.
Yeah.
Song number 2, Thrill Seeker. It's about a song about a guy who likes to thrill seeker, basically. A song with a flute and some synthesizer solos plays along with the string part.
Yeah.
Again, most of these songs have strings in it, so.
Okay.
Number 3, Commuter Love. Starts off with a accordion and, people in a train station. It's like he's looking for his love that he knew once at a place in the train station. So hence Commuter Love. I thought it was Computer Love, but that's something else. Like what Backstreet Boys, like Digital Get Down, which is kind of a dumb song. And that song, Digital Get Down, that's an auto-tune song. Number 4, Sweden. This is one that is heavily orchestrated, and it could be a symphonic song in its part.
Uh-huh.
Because, to go to Sweden, and, there's talks about Henrik Eisman. I think, I don't know what else is in Sweden. ABBA. No, he doesn't talk about ABBA or IKEA or Volvos. I'm sorry. That name Volvo is just diarrhea. But no, it's talks about being in the Scandinavian country and great orchestration in the song. Number 5, Eric the Gardener. Okay, now this one I'm gonna have to say is kind of like the boring song of the part, it's there's still the Divine Comedy style strings and what have you, but this one's like 8 minutes long. It could have been cut in half basically because it's like it's almost like how King Crimson had a song called Moonchild. That could have been just 10 minutes. Could have been cut off of that. I do love progressive rock, but I kind of like ones that songs like if they were along like "Supper's Ready" by Genesis. As I talk about Genesis, that's a 22+ minute song. But
Well, what's this song by the Divine Comedy, though?
oh, Eric the Gardener.
Yes.
Basically, a guy named Eric who does gardening, and
Is he a professional gardener?
I don't know.
Like he gets paid to garden?
Maybe.
Robin says cool shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, I hope you're liking the show, Robin, because
She has no idea what you're talking about.
well, okay, nobody. I'm sorry, nobody does. Unless if people are from the United Kingdom, they might.
I mean, if you talk about the actual songs on the album, you started talking about Genesis and all this other stuff.
Okay, well, all right, but just click. We have more shows coming soon. We click, like, subscribe, get notified. Now, for some apparent reason, I think about how Grandma had that bell, but she didn't have that. The sixth song, National Express, that was actually a hit song in England. And it's about, and there's a video for it. It's like has Neil Hannon in a wheelchair. He's being walked around this hospital. And they like talking about lady maids wearing mini skirts and like they were back in the 60s again. And it's got a great brass section in it. And it's kind of got that doo-wop kind of thing. Do 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 ba 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 ba. And it's almost like that. Well, some big band music actually would later become rock and roll. Actually, got some influence from the big band. I just realized.
Yeah.
The way the beats and what have you.
Yeah, that's true.
And they also use some brass instruments too. It's just that it became a smaller band. But National Express, that's a if you want to really dive into the Divine Comedy, this is the album, and this is the song to start off with first. Even though it's the sixth song, but number 7, Life on Earth. This song is kind of a waltz style and has an accordion and not that much strings in it, but there's a great piano solo in it.
Okay.
And you hear bells in it. It's like it's talking about life on Earth and how much it could suck or something. The 8th song. Now, this is another long song by the Divine Comedy. It's called Certainty of Chance, which clocks into 6 minutes. But this is a fantastic song because it starts off with this one has actually a full orchestra, not just string and brass, but also winds and harp, as well as kettle drums. Like, why can't we get this? Yeah. We wound up getting boy bands.
I don't know what you're harping on.
The song talks about how a butterfly turns into a hurricane, computers crashing down while a child's sleeping, and the third and final verse has the singer saying goodbye to his love, and it's like
I'm gonna have to listen to this album. I don't know if you're doing it justice.
Okay, but,
the butterfly turns into a hurricane.
Something like that. But,
okay.
But yeah. So, and then there's like the orchestration part. It could almost be a Moody Blues song.
Yeah, you're comparing the Divine Comedy to the Moody Blues a lot.
But because there's also a monologue Hannon has at the end.
Okay.
I wonder what life is going to be like for my children, and are we detached? And it segues to "Here Comes the Flood," which is actually a Oh, this could be a great song for this way things are right now.
Yeah.
Global warming, the war on terror, everything else. Because he's talking about all this stuff. Like, there's no way you can. You just have to face the flood, and it's the end basically. Because there's like six. There's like also this monologue by somebody else, not by Neil Hannon, but it's like, why watch SportsCenter when you have CNN? And yeah, so if you want to, it's like all this corruption.
Is that what
like,
he actually says?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like, on your mark, get set, go, and then in the end, like the choir is singing and fighting at the same time. And
okay.
Also, there's another song with a lot of brass in it. And after when it all ends, it actually goes with another song, Sunrise. Talks about Neil Hannon. Like it just ends with a beautiful song. It's like with a harpsichord and an orchestra. Obviously, Divine Comedy instruments. And he talks about living in England. And again, this was actually the 6th album that came out. And so it's, again, I recommend it. And I encourage you to. So I'm just gonna end it on this, but I will tell you, the Divine. I really wish the country is ready for Divine Comedy, because I've been. So yeah. Well, that is it. I don't know what I'm going to review next week, but maybe. But stay tuned. It's actually going to be an American band. And a 90s band, too, because I just want to go back to the 90s. Okay, how about this? Hootie and the Blowfish's Cracked Rear View.
That sounds interesting. All right.
Because, we grew up with that album.
Listened to it a bunch of times.
And unfortunately, that's like, if I had 16 bands that had a great debut album, then went downhill, Hootie and the Blowfish would actually be on there. The other would be King Crimson. So, I'm Paul Queen Warren, living in the city of Cleveland, in the state of Cleveland, and the United States of Cleveland. Signing off.
And we're clear.